I am man. I am strong. I am authentically inauthentic. Observe my prowess, my drive, my toughness, my love for bombast, showmanship, and sport. I do not cry. And love, it is a game. I am dominant. I am man.
This particular example of what the media portrays as essentially male is arguably over the top, but many of these attitudes and portrayals are pushed in entertainment today, perhaps in less overt ways, but they are still prevalent.
Male characters typically fit into a handful of roles: sexual, muscular, egotistical, tough; dim-witted blue-collar worker; upper-class breadwinning professional; outcast, socially awkward geek. Women are, in many cases, treated as inferior or weaker, sex objects or trophies to be gained, stay-at-home mothers that assumedly have no role in the workplace or no apparent desire to be involved in it.
When presented in this analytical fashion, the ideological position, or belief of how the world is defined, put forth by the media is apparent. But often in context, it simply becomes something we don't really think about. We're used to generalizations of gender in the media. It has become the norm.
The situation isn't all bad. One can find examples of gender representation in popular media that go against the norm, like Sigourney Weaver as Ripley in the Alien series. An independent and tough woman that stands up to vile and ruthless aliens, assumes leadership roles, and is for the most part represented as the opposite of the normal female role. In Zero Dark 30, a film about the locating and capture of Osama bin Laden, the female character Maya shares many traits with Ripley, but is represented in real-world scenarios.
Entertainment media is not the only media to treat gender this way. It constantly happens in advertising. Together, the generalized representations of gender put forth by entertainment and advertising can become especially potent. Advertisements try to get us to buy products not only by displaying a thing's usefulness or appeal, but also by the race, class, and yes, gender of the person promoting it, or of the person disregarding it. Advertisers feed on insecurity, on our desires to keep up appearances, and to fit in.
As chairman of the Welcoming Committee, it is my privilege to extend a laurel and hearty handshake to our new nigger.
A satire not to be taken seriously, Blazing Saddles faces some of the realities of racism past and present, and amplifies them so much that the entire notion of racism appears absurd and pointless. Movies like this give us pause and cause us to think about racism in our own lives, but much of today's entertainment media still depicts racial stereotypes prevalent in our society. Newscasters and commentators are a prime example of representation issues. As the mouthpiece via which many viewers receive and therefore perceive the news, these individuals hold unique spots of power. In 2012, 7 of the 10 top-paid news anchors were white males. The fact of the matter is that news media is still dominated by white, middle to upper-class males. According to research presented in the textbook Media Society, 3rd edition, despite the fact that racial and ethnic minorities make up 30% of the population, they only account for 13.3% of individuals in the newsroom. These minorities also make up the lower end of the newsroom hierarchy.
This holds true not only for newscasters, commentators, and writers of news content, but also for writers and content generators in entertainment media. White, middle, and upper-class men have historically controlled the media industry, and media content has largely reflected their perspectives on the world. Entertainment and news media do not reflect the diversity of the real world. However, media content does reflect the inequality.
So why care about all of this? Is it really a problem? It definitely can be. As media consumers, we all absolutely need to be aware that our fellow humans don't fit in these stereotypical boxes, and we need to adjust our minds and behaviors accordingly.
Men ought to be allowed to show emotion in public without fear of judgment.
Women need to be given more respect than the sex objects the media often portrays them to be.
Be open-minded and aware of what race or gender representations and what stereotypes may be influencing your interactions and judgments. Show respect and recognize individuality. Let's not allow the media's influence and representations of race and gender to negatively affect our interactions.